Hello and welcome to your Club Everton Daily. The date is Friday, the 10th of February 2012. And now it's way past 7 in the morning, so don't even start. Alright, so, what's coming up on today's Daily? It's going to be significantly shorter than yesterday's, I can tell you that right now. Lasted for almost 30 minutes. It's almost as long as some of the old Club Everton radio podcasts where we had like thousands of features to go through instead of the usual 4. Yeah, but you know what you're gonna do. It was a busy news day yesterday, so we wanted to cover as much as we possibly could. But anyway, that was then. This is now. What's coming up? We're going to round up the news. Our roundtable discussion topic is actually not about the England vacancy. It's about Andre Villas-Boas conceding that Chelsea are probably not going to win the title this year. Something we figured out a long time ago, but still, it's nice to see that he's got his feet on the ground at least. We're also going to have the gossip column. There's going to be plenty of shit going on about the England manager's job. And in our article of interest, football's anti-social networking on Twitter. How much of a problem is it becoming? That's courtesy of when Saturday comes. wsc.co.uk for this and more great articles. Alright, so that's what's coming up. Let's get straight down to it and we'll start with the news. And not much news to get through today because, you know, the big news is obviously the match and we talk about the matches at the end of the month, so. Anyway, Joby Mikel says taming the beast that is Victor Adichie will be essential as Chelsea are to nullify Everton on Saturday. Obviously, Adichie and John Obi Mikel are international teammates. They both play for the Nigerian national team. And he's warned his Chelsea defensive cohorts that they face a torrid afternoon should the Blues Academy graduate get the nod against the Londoners, which I'm guessing maybe, but probably not. I think it'll be either Yelovich or Strakowalezi who start off front for us against them. I'm going to go with Dennis, given, you know, the shift he put in against Man City. A repeat of that would do wonders against the likes of Chelsea. Anyway, Mikel said, Victor's a very good player. He's young, always hungry. Whenever I speak to him, he always says he needs to play more, and I agree with him. Sometimes when I see him play, he's a beast. He's a very, very difficult to play against. This season, from what I've heard, he's doing well and scored a few goals. He's come back from a very bad injury too. So for him to come back strongly and be playing the way he is, then credit to him. It's going to be nice to see him, but it's always difficult to play against him. He's quick and strong. Everyone knows I never liked Victor Anichebe. Just his performances last season were so fucking infuriating. His obstinate refusal to track back just pissed me off so much. But I've got to give credit where credit's due. He's played well the games he's played so far this season, and he bailed us out the shit big time against Wigan too. So, you know, I can't hate him too much. And he did the same against West Brom actually as well, so yeah. Alright, the other bit of news is the match preview. This was written by a Club Everton forum member, Dixie to be precise. He's done the last 2 match previews and we've published them both on the site. They've been really good, so, you know, well done Dixie. Anyway, here's his match preview for the Chelsea game tomorrow. Both sides come into this game on the back of a disappointing draw in their last fixture. Chelsea letting slip a 3-0 lead against title-chasing Man United, and Everton failing to see off bottom of the table Wigan Athletic. Everton's new signing Nikita Yelovich will be hoping to make his debut at Goodison Park after his £5.5 million switch from Rangers. He'll be needed as Everton's profligate attack this season. Bloody hell, I'm really struggling with my words. It means they've scored a meagre 12 goals at home, which is the 3rd lowest in the entire league. Chelsea are coming into this game on the back of 3 straight draws, which has put pressure on under fire Villas-Boas. Although he may be confident of a result after winning a Carling Cup game here 2-1 earlier in the season. Injuries. Chelsea still have injury doubts over Frank Lampard and John Terry, and it's unlikely that they will make the starting 11. Ramirez is definitely out. Everton hope to have Jack Rodwell back to the first team action soon, but he will unlikely make it in time to face Chelsea. Sylvain Distin made his return from injury against Wigan, and he's likely to keep his place in the side. Chelsea stage man, Juan Mata. The Spaniard's first season has seen him impress after his switch from Valencia. Currently standing on 10 assists and 8 goals in all competitions for Chelsea, he will be the major threat to David Moyes' men, especially his delivery from set pieces. Probable lineup: Howard in goal, Back forward of Hibbert, Heitinger, Distin and Baines. Midfield, Donovan, Fellaini, Gibson, Pienaar. KO behind the striker and Jalovic up front. Prediction, a hard-fought Chelsea win, 2-1 to Chelsea. So that's Dixie's match report. If you are, go and read it for yourself and leave a comment on his thoughts. Excuse me. Go Everton.co.uk and Chelsea match report should be on the headline ticker on the top of the homepage. Alright, so that's it for the news. Okay, so we'll move on to our roundtable. And today, Villas-Boas says Chelsea are pursuing damage limitation. Chelsea boss Andre Villas-Boas said his side are engaged in damage limitation in the Premier League, but the owner Roman Abramovich remains supportive. Yes, we've seen how that conversation's gone before. Repeat with me now. Avram Grant, Big Phil Scolari. Actually, Carlo Ancelotti for that matter. In the league, we have to dilute the damage and try to finish fourth at least, which is not a very honourable position for this club, he said. But he said the Blues were pursuing trophies on two fronts and that he has a 3-year plan for further success. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's not going to get those 3 years to see that play out. He insists that meetings with Abramovich have been very positive. Chelsea travelled to Everton on Saturday in 4th position after being held 3-3 at Stamford Bridge by Man United last weekend despite taking a 3-0 win. A 3-0 lead rather. Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea, has been at the club twice in recent weeks, and the Blues manager said the Russian has shown empathy and motivation for next year's project. Chelsea's billionaire owner paid Porto £13.3 million in compensation to bring in Villas-Boas in the summer, but there's been criticism of the Portuguese's performance so far, in particular in the wake of the 5-3 home defeat to Arsenal in October. Roman is always very interested in the running of events, said Villas-Boas. At the moment, the relationship has been very good, very positive. He's a good person to share knowledge with, ask questions and try to give answers regarding what I do. I think it's legitimate and would compare it to a normal club president-manager relationship. Chelsea are 14 points behind Premier League leaders Man City, and Villas-Boas hinted that the club's focus will be on the FA Cup and the Champions League, in which the Blues face Napoli later this month. When we set up with this team, we believed the team was ready for 4 trophies, he said. Now we have a Champions League objective. We still play for 2 prestigious trophies. We have 2 competitions where we look better, and another competition where we have to dilute the damage and try to finish 4th, at least, which is not a very honourable position for the dimension of this club. Villas-Boas signed a 3-year contract at Stamford Bridge in the summer and is confident success can be achieved within that time frame. The reality is that in the last years there's been a pattern of managers shifting, said the 34-year-old, who became Chelsea's 4th manager in 3 years following the departures of Avram Grant, Luis Felipe Scolari and Carlo Ancelotti. In the end, you have to agree that from 2004 Chelsea have been massively successful. It's been the best period in Chelsea's history. Hopefully we can progress that within the 3-year range with me here. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Right, well, anyway, that's the round table. Let's go to the gossip. And of course, we have England manager gossip to start us off. As always, the source and the story. The Mirror reports that the FA will have to pay Tottenham £5 million transfer fee, quote unquote, to install Harry Redknapp as the new England manager. Even the Standard says, but Spurs will reject any approach from the FA to appoint Redknapp before the end of the season. The Telegraph reports that Redknapp will take the England job for Euro 2012, but will need persuading to take charge full time for the World Cup qualifying campaign. The Mirror reports that Fabio Capello is still set to go to Euro 2012 as a pundit for Italian TV, but he won't be allowed to cover England matches. Won't be allowed to cover England matches under the terms of his £1.5 million payoff from the FA. The Cunt-Rag reports that Britain may not have seen the last of Fabio Capello. He is Chelsea's choice of manager if Roman Abramovich decides to fire Andre Villas-Boas. The Metro reports that Capello will receive a £1.5 million payoff from the FA, and members of his backroom staff will receive around £1 million for leaving with him. Talkshite reports that Liverpool and former England defender Jamie Carragher says the FA should only target Harry Redknapp and Martin O'Neill. Hey. Right, transfer gossip. The Mirror. Spanish giants Real Madrid are ready to make the first move for Arsenal captain Robin van Persie. Hey, here we go again. The Express and Star report that Aston Villa have failed to extend the loan deal of LA Galaxy striker Robbie Keane after the MLS rebuffs their request to increase his stay. So imagine any attempt to get Landon Donovan to do the same, it's probably going to have the same outcome, unfortunately. Talkshite reports that Man United's target Wesley Sneijder is being eyed up by Russian club Zenit St. Petersburg, and they could sign the Inter Milan and Holland midfielder before the transfer window closes this month. Russian transfer window, that is, that closes at the end of this month instead of last month, like I said. Don't ask why, I don't know. Liverpool Echo reports that Everton's Greek striker Apostolos Velios will not be joining Leicester City on loan despite falling down the Toffees' pecking order recently. Look, just be patient with the boy, for fuck's sake. He is still young. He's not a starting striker yet. I know I'm going to get shit for that. Anyway, International Business Times UK, a source I've not used very often, reports that the agent of Udinese striker Mauricio Isla has confirmed that Liverpool are interested in the 23-year-old Chilean international, claiming the midfielder's future will be clarified in the summer. In other gossip, the Cunt Rag reports that Andre Villas-Boas insists he's not worried by Roman Abramovich's frequent visits to the Blues training ground the past week. You should be, son. The Mirror reports that former Man City midfielder Patrick Vieira, now the club's football development executive, reckons the Premier League leaders are getting a raw deal from top-flight referees. Oh, fucking... yeah. The Mirror reports that Chris Samba is facing a backlash from some Blackburn teammates over his attempt to force through a move away from Ewood Park in the January transfer window. Yeah, that's going to convince him to stay, isn't it? Goal.com reports that Per Mertesacker, Arsenal defender, says his form has suffered in the Premier League because he's not had the mid-season break he's used to in his native Germany. Always a hot topic, that one. Should we have a winter break in the Premier League? I don't know. I'm not prepared to give an answer at this point either. The FA wants my expertise, they're going to have to pay me for it. Anyway, the Echo reports that Liverpool legend Tommy Smith is selling all his medals from his glittering Reds career, including the league title, the FA Cup, the UEFA Cup and the European Cup winners' medals. Now, anyone expecting me to go on this, don't. It's clear that either he's in a desperate financial situation, or, he's trying to raise money for charity. Neither of which are laughing matters, to be honest, so let's move on. Manchester Evening News reports that former Man United and England midfielder Nicky Butt says he would not be surprised if Paul Scholes continue playing for the Red Devils next season. You know what, I wouldn't either. He has been playing relatively well, to be fair to him. And finally, there's two. Don't understand why when it's called and finally, there should only be one, that's the point of a final. But there's two of them here. I make that rant every day, I should stop doing it. And maybe once they stop putting two things in, I might. Anyway, The Guardian. Conference Premier League side Bath City are offering the rights to rename their Twerton Park Stadium to fans for 50 quid. Oh, that's gonna be fun. I'd imagine Bath City's rivals at Bellends Arena might be what it's gonna be called. Anyway, the final piece, 101 Great Goals, reports that players and officials from Turkish topside side Samsunspor escaped a potential disaster where the team bus was hit by a train on a railway crossing. Bloody hell. That was a rather disappointing note to end the daily on. Sorry, to end the gossip column on. Well, that is the end of the gossip column. So we'll finish off with our article of interest. It is Football's Anti-Social Networking on Twitter, written by William Serville for wsc.co.uk. The devastating collision between football and Twitter seems to escalate with each coming week. In the last 7 days, Premier League players have criticised supporters, referees and fellow professionals. Fans have been caught racially abusing rival club players, and journalist Patrick Barkley has incensed Liverpool supporters by referring to the Heysel European Cup final deaths. As more players, fans and pundits are lured onto Twitter, further trouble seems to ensue. Football's not the only source of controversy on Twitter. For celebrities, politicians and journalists alike, the slightest slip-up or careless remark is pounced on by other users and publicised instantly. Tweets on the game seem to cause more trouble than most though. That's the disadvantage of being an incredibly emotive sport for players and spectators alike, meaning things are regularly said in the heat of the moment rather. The instantaneous nature of the site, which enables players to post their thoughts from the substitute's bench at the changing room, doesn't help and can lead to real embarrassment for their employers. So what can be done? Some teams, notably the Holland squad at the 2010 World Cup, have banned their players from using Twitter. But this could prove very difficult to implement on a wider level. How might prolific users such as Rio Ferdinand and Joey Barton respond if their clubs asked them to stop tweeting? Barton made clear. Fucking hell, I'm back in the old listening days. Barton made clear through Twitter and in a Times article last week that he sees his account as a platform for freedom of speech. He asked his 1 million followers, "What's the point of living if you cannot express your opinion?" Regulation might be the answer. Players should be allowed to make it for themselves, but not their employers. Seems fair enough, but the trouble is knowing where to draw on the line. Should Darren Bent, while Tottenham have been allowed to openly criticise the club's chairman Daniel Levy? Should Ravel Morrison be free to make homophobic remarks about rival fans? Should Charlton Zobbia be allowed to tell his followers he's not enjoying play for Aston Villa? Was it right for Ryan Babel to artistically accuse Howard Webb of being biased towards Man United? What about Barton's open criticism of Newcastle transfer policy while he was still at that club? These are just a few well-known cases. Clearly, it would be extremely difficult to administer consistent regulation of players using Twitter. So football clubs like political parties, TV channels, supermarkets and most other organisations are put in a very difficult situation. It's impossible to ban players from tweeting, and it's difficult to regulate their tweets. The most simple and logical solution is to stop players from referring directly to club affairs and make clear their opinions are personal and not representative of their employers. Players like Barton, who come dangerously close to contempt of court on Twitter over the weekend, might not enjoy such top-down moderation, but in light of how badly players come across on the site, closing their accounts wouldn't be the worst solution. Alright, so that is the article of interest for today. Again, wsc.co.uk for this and more great articles. It's not a plug because the website's free to view. I do occasionally use stuff from the magazine, but, you know. Alright, well that's it for today's daily. Thank you very much for listening. Before we let you go, we're on social networking sites. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Google+. All the links are below. Don't forget to nominate the Fallatonians for the Shorty Award at Fallatonians. Use the hashtag soccer, mention Shorty Awards in a tweet, that'll count as a nomination. I haven't checked where about they're up to in the rankings yet. I'll do that a bit later on and tell you tomorrow where they are. Don't forget to join us, Club Everton Forum, clubeverton.co.uk/forum is the site for that. Read our articles or contribute to us, clubeverton.co.uk. Send us an email via the contact us links if you want to become a contributor on the site. And finally, Club Everton Today is brought to you by Hand Stores, the official travel partner of clubeverton.co.uk. Visit handstores.co.uk for more information or give Hannah a ring on 077 521 21395. Alright, well that's it. Thank you very much for listening and we'll see you again tomorrow.